Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video talking all about rejection. Now this video does not have to be only theater specific, but I thought that it would be helpful to offer up some tips when it came to dealing with rejection in a more positive way. Now when it does come to theater, rejection is going to be almost a part of your everyday routine. So it's helpful to find ways to deal with the rejection and make them more positive than letting the rejection eat you alive. So I thought that it would be helpful to give 5 tips on how to deal with rejection. So if that sounds like anything you might be interested in, then keep on watching. Alright, so tip number 1 is going to be to find other hobbies. Now theater is a little bit unique because not only is it a career path, but it is also sometimes your hobby. So I know that that's the way it was for me when I was growing up. Whenever anybody would say, oh, well, what do you do for fun? I do theater for fun. So when you make theater your career, you have to find something else that you love. So whether that is reading a book or going for a run or talking to your friends, it is a much more positive thing to think about something else rather than just focusing on your career path. So if you're nervous going into an audition, what I would recommend doing is maybe focus on the things that you get to do after. So if you reward yourself and say, okay, well, if I do well at this audition, I'm gonna go get ice cream. And then after that, I'm gonna go for a run at the gym and work out really hard. So that way you're thinking more about the benefit from the audition and you're kind of pushing yourself to do better, because then you can get to that thing that might be a little bit more fun and less nerve-wracking in the future. Okay, so tip number 2 is going to be to put a more positive spin on it. So basically what this kind of means is taking a situation and turning it from a negative into a positive. Of course, this tip is the most easiest said than done, because it is so easy for somebody who didn't just have a terrible audition to say, oh, well, make it more positive. But one thing that I use to rely on is my faith. So I try to look at it as though if one door closes into my face, that means that the Lord is opening up another door down the path for me. So when I rely on my own humanly instincts and I rely on solely what I want for my life, it never works out as well as a plan that the Lord has for me. Another tip that you can use is talking to your friends. If you're feeling really negative and you've heard a bunch of no's, it is very easy to just kind of sit alone and think about all of the things that you've done wrong and all the things that you could do better. But sometimes talking with friends, both theater friends and non-theater friends, they can give you different bits of advice and different tips on how to deal with that rejection rather than just letting you be alone with your own thoughts. Alright, so my next tip is going to be to remember that it is not your fault. So in theater, a lot of the times you are going to come in super prepared. All your material is going to be in your binder. You have your headshots and resumes stapled. Your song is labeled and the accompanist, and everything goes well. And the auditors think they really like you, and then you leave and you don't get a call back, or you don't ever hear from the company. And it is so hard to remember that sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Auditions are a weird meld of the company is looking for the right fit for them, but you're also looking for the right fit for you. So a lot of times the company might already have that role cast. They just have to do auditions as part of their protocol. So even if you do your absolute best, sometimes you might not even be considered for the part, which is so unfortunate, and it is so disheartening to think about sometimes, even though you've done your best. It stinks to have to hear no's. That is why all of these tips are kind of a culmination of all 5 of them, because it is so much more healthy to try to remember that you didn't do anything wrong. Now there is always room for growth, so you can always prepare more, you can always come in with more confidence and things like that. But when it comes to the auditor side of the table and the way that they are interpreting your audition, not always do you have control over that. So just try to keep in mind as a mindset that it's not always your fault, and sometimes it is just kind of the way of the world or the way of the situation. So tip number 4 is going to be create an audition philosophy. So this is one of my favorite tips because this is kind of something that has helped me get through a lot of auditions. So I love the audition process. It is my favorite part of theater in general. I love that nervous energy and the exciting 90 seconds that sometimes you have to do your material. So basically my philosophy on it is that your audition is the only time that it's going to be 100% up to you to put your best foot forward. I look at my audition as a 90-second one-woman show. This is my time to shine. This is my time to show the auditors, this is what I am made of. Are you interested in me? Or perhaps are you not interested in me and you're thinking of going with someone else? That way, instead of looking at it as, why don't they want me? Why aren't I good enough? I kind of view it as, you know what? My presentation and my package wasn't what they are looking for. They might be looking for somebody else, but in the future, someone's going to look for what I bring to the table. auditions are supposed to be a good thing. They seem really scary and they bring up a lot of nerves and anxiety sometimes, but auditions are supposed to be positive. They're supposed to lead you to a job rather than pull you away from a job. So you have to try to kind of reset your mind from thinking, oh, this is the worst part of theater, this is so scary, and maybe reset it into being, you know what, this is kind of fun. It's gonna take a little bit of time before you think, oh, I'm having so much fun, this nerves is just fun, but eventually you will get there. And lastly, tip number 5 is going to be to keep moving forward. One thing that my parents have always kind of told me, there's no sense in looking in the rearview mirror. All you can do is look forward and try to move on from your situations, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If the answer was no, the answer was no. Maybe 6 months down the line, it might be a yes. And that's what's so unique about theater, is that in that moment, you might not have been right for that show or that season, but you might be right for something in a year, and that company might still call you. So just keep moving forward, keep remembering that there's going to be another audition. There's going to be a better day up ahead. This is not the defining factor of who you are as a person. My favorite quote in life is just kind of, when one door opens, another door closes. And it's so true. And I use my faith to rely on, so I kind of say, when the Lord closes one door, there is such a better path headed up ahead for me than I could even imagine for myself. And if you maybe aren't relying on your faith, then just the mindset of when one door closes, I'm sure there's another door down the path that is so much better than maybe what you had pictured for yourself. So those are my 5 tips when it comes to dealing with rejection. Basically, my overall thoughts on rejection in theater are kind of, don't let the rejection define you. You will come out of the rejection. You will keep moving forward. I promise there are better days up ahead. Theater is what you love to do, and if theater is your passion, then you're gonna keep moving forward despite how many no's you get. I love to look at situations as though, well, okay, let's say a theater says, we cast 6 people. Well, somebody has to be one of those 6, so why not let it be you? If you take yourself out of the running before you even go for it, then you'll always regret not pushing yourself and working a little bit harder. So go for those auditions that are a little bit more tricky. Go for those things that seem really scary, because in the end, it's the bigger decisions that you make that you're going to be more grateful for. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you like the content that is on this channel so far. Also, please feel free to leave comments in the comments box below if you're interested in opening up a discussion about anything that I have just said. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and I will hopefully see you in my next video on my channel. But thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!